Most people spend their entire lives chasing success. Yet very few stop to ask a much more important question. What if success has been trying to find you all along, but your own thoughts have been pushing it away? Every single day, your mind is broadcasting a silent message to the world. Long before you speak, long before you act, your beliefs are already shaping your reality. The strange thing about life is that it often reflects back not what you desperately want, but what you consistently expect. Think about that for a moment. If you wake up every morning expecting disappointment, your brain immediately starts searching for evidence to prove that expectation correct. If you expect rejection, your body language changes, your confidence shrinks, your decisions become smaller, and eventually the outcome confirms what you feared from the beginning. Then you call it fate. But it was never fate, it was a pattern. It was your own psychology quietly directing your choices without asking for permission. The law of attraction has fascinated millions of people because it offers a simple promise: your thoughts influence your reality. Some people misunderstand this idea and believe they only need to wish for success while doing nothing. But that is not how the human mind works. Your thoughts alone are not magic. Your thoughts shape your emotions influence your behavior, and your behavior creates opportunities that would have remained invisible if your mindset had stayed trapped in fear. This is where psychology and the law of attraction begin to meet. Your brain is constantly filtering billions of pieces of information every second, yet you consciously notice only a tiny fraction. The question is, what determines what your brain chooses to notice? Your dominant beliefs. Imagine buying a new car. Suddenly, you begin seeing the same model everywhere. Did thousands of those cars suddenly appear overnight? Of course not. They were always there. Your attention simply changed. Success works the same way. Opportunities have always existed around you, but a fearful mind cannot recognize them because it is too busy scanning for danger. A confident mind notices possibilities because it has trained itself to expect growth instead of failure. That is why changing your mindset is not pretending. It is changing the filter through which you experience reality. Many people unknowingly attract struggle because struggle has become familiar. Familiarity feels safe even when it hurts. If someone grows up hearing that money is difficult to earn, that successful people are lucky, or that dreams are unrealistic, those beliefs become invisible rules controlling adulthood. They may consciously desire wealth, happiness, or achievement, but unconsciously they reject every opportunity that threatens those old beliefs. This internal conflict is exhausting. One part of the mind presses the accelerator while another slams the brakes. The result is frustration without understanding why nothing changes. Success begins with identity before it becomes achievement. You cannot permanently outperform the image you hold of yourself. If deep inside you believe you are not worthy of success, every victory will feel temporary. You will sabotage relationships, careers, businesses, and opportunities simply because your subconscious mind wants reality to match identity. That is why changing external circumstances without changing internal beliefs rarely lasts. Real transformation starts in silence, where nobody can see it, inside the conversations you have with yourself every day. Listen carefully to your inner voice. Does it encourage you, or does it constantly criticize you? Does it remind you of your strengths, or only replay your failures? The person who speaks to you more than anyone else is you. If your own mind has become your biggest enemy, no amount of external motivation can permanently save you. But the opposite is equally true. When your mind becomes your strongest ally, even difficult situations begin to lose their power over you. One of the greatest misunderstandings about attraction is believing that confidence comes after success. In reality, confidence often comes before success. It is the willingness to believe in a future that has not yet arrived. Every entrepreneur who built an empire started with uncertainty. Every athlete who became a champion was once unknown. Every artist who inspired millions first created in silence while nobody was watching. They were not guaranteed success. They simply refused to let temporary circumstances define permanent beliefs. Fear is an incredibly persuasive storyteller. It whispers that failure is proof you should quit. It tells you that other people are naturally gifted while you are naturally ordinary. It convinces you that one rejection predicts every future rejection. But fear rarely tells the truth. It tells convincing stories built from incomplete evidence. Psychology shows us that negative experiences often leave stronger emotional memories than positive ones. That means one criticism can outweigh 10 compliments if you allow it. Unless you consciously retrain your attention, your brain naturally becomes biased toward danger instead of opportunity. This is why gratitude is more powerful than most people realize. Gratitude is not denying problems. Gratitude is teaching your mind that life contains more than problems. Every time you intentionally recognize progress, kindness, growth, or opportunity, you strengthen neural pathways associated with optimism and resilience. Over time, your brain becomes more efficient at finding possibilities because you have repeatedly instructed it where to look. This is not wishful thinking, it is mental conditioning. Visualization follows the same principle. Elite performers have used mental rehearsal for decades because the brain responds remarkably well to vividly imagined experiences. When you repeatedly picture yourself acting with confidence, solving problems calmly, speaking clearly, or achieving meaningful goals, you reduce uncertainty and prepare your nervous system for future performance. Visualization alone changes nothing. Visualization combined with consistent action changes everything. The universe cannot reward movement that never begins. You cannot attract opportunities while hiding from every challenge. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment where preparation ends and courage begins. That first phone call, first interview, first business idea, first speech, first investment, first difficult conversation. These moments often determine the direction of an entire life. Success rarely asks whether you feel ready. It asks whether you are willing. Another hidden secret is emotional energy. People naturally move toward individuals who radiate calm confidence and genuine purpose. This does not mean pretending to be happy every second. It means refusing to become permanently trapped inside negativity. Your emotional state influences how you communicate, negotiate, create, lead, and solve problems. Others respond not only to your words, but to the emotional atmosphere you create around yourself. Compare two people with identical skills. One constantly complains, expects failure, and focuses on limitations. The other remains curious, adaptable, optimistic, and solution-oriented. Which one is more likely to receive opportunities? Which one will attract supportive relationships? Which one will inspire trust? The difference is not magic, it is emotional psychology shaping human behavior. Patience is another overlooked form of attraction. Seeds do not become forests overnight. Personal growth follows the same law. Most people quit because they expect immediate evidence that their efforts are working. But meaningful change usually happens invisibly before it becomes visible. Confidence grows quietly. Discipline grows quietly. Knowledge grows quietly. Character grows quietly. Then one day, the world calls you an overnight success, completely unaware of the years spent becoming the person capable of handling success. Stop measuring your life against someone else's timeline. Comparison steals attention from your own progress. Every minute spent envying another person's journey is a minute stolen from building your own. Attraction flourishes where attention flows. If your attention constantly lives inside someone else's achievements, your own potential remains neglected. Surround yourself with people whose conversations expand your thinking instead of shrinking your confidence. Human beings unconsciously absorb emotional habits from those around them. Optimism spreads, discipline spreads, negativity spreads, excuses spread. Choose your environment carefully because your environment often becomes your future before you realize it. Most importantly, understand that success is not something you chase forever. It is something you gradually become compatible with through your habits, beliefs, discipline, resilience, and willingness to keep growing despite uncertainty. The law of attraction becomes meaningful when it inspires you to think differently, feel differently, and therefore act differently. That combination creates a life that once seemed impossible, but slowly becomes your new normal. The moment you stop seeing yourself as someone waiting for success and begin seeing yourself as someone preparing for success, everything changes. Your posture changes, your decisions change, your relationships change, your standards rise. You stop asking whether you deserve a better life and start asking what kind of person you must become to create it. That question has the power to transform everything, because lasting success is rarely attracted by desperate desire alone. It is attracted by a mind that expects growth, a heart that remains grateful through uncertainty, and daily actions that consistently prove those beliefs true. There comes a point in every person's life where the greatest obstacle is no longer a lack of money, opportunity, education, or connections. The greatest obstacle becomes the story they have repeated to themselves for so many years that it begins to feel like absolute truth. Human beings are remarkable storytellers. We don't simply remember events, we give them meaning. Two people can experience the same failure, and one walks away believing, "This is proof I'm not good enough," while the other quietly says, "This is part of the process." The event is identical, yet the future becomes completely different because the interpretation is different. This is why your internal narrative matters more than your external circumstances. Success is not only built by what happens to you, it is built by the meaning you assign to what happens. If every setback becomes evidence that life is against you, then every challenge will drain your energy. But if every setback becomes feedback, every obstacle becomes another lesson preparing you for a greater opportunity. The law of attraction is often misunderstood because people focus only on receiving. They ask, "How do I attract success?" instead of asking, "What kind of energy am I contributing to the world every single day?" Think about the people you naturally admire. They usually have something far more valuable than talent. They possess consistency. They continue showing up when excitement disappears. They remain focused when nobody is applauding. They improve quietly while everyone else waits for motivation to arrive. This quiet consistency creates confidence because every promise they keep to themselves becomes another reason to trust themselves. Self-trust is one of the strongest forms of attraction. When you trust yourself, your decisions become clearer. You hesitate less. You recover from mistakes faster. You stop needing constant validation because your confidence comes from evidence you have created through disciplined action. Many people unknowingly live in survival mode. Their thoughts revolve around avoiding failure instead of creating success. There is a significant psychological difference between these two approaches. A person trying to avoid failure plays cautiously. They reject opportunities because they fear embarrassment. They remain silent because they fear criticism. They postpone dreams because they fear disappointment. But someone focused on creating success accepts that discomfort is part of growth. They understand that confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is acting despite fear. Every courageous decision sends a powerful message to the subconscious mind. I am capable of handling more than I thought. That message slowly rewrites identity, and identity eventually shapes destiny. Notice how successful individuals often carry themselves with calm certainty. This does not mean they never experience doubt. They certainly do. The difference is that they do not allow doubt to become their permanent residence. Doubt visits everyone, but not everyone invites it to stay. Your mind is like a house with many rooms. Fear may knock on the door. Anxiety may appear unexpectedly. Negative thoughts may arrive without invitation. But you decide whether those thoughts become temporary visitors or permanent tenants. Every time you entertain limiting beliefs for hours, days, or weeks, you strengthen them. Every time you gently redirect your attention toward possibility, you weaken them. This is mental training, and like physical training, the results appear gradually rather than instantly. Another powerful principle is learning to release desperation. Desperation often pushes away the very opportunities we seek because it creates emotional pressure. Imagine attending an interview, believing your entire future depends on one conversation. Your voice becomes tense, your mind races, your body language communicates anxiety rather than confidence. Now, imagine attending the same interview, believing that this is simply one opportunity among many that life will continue to provide. Suddenly, your breathing slows, your thinking becomes clearer, and your personality naturally shines through. The external situation has not changed. Only your emotional relationship with the situation has changed. This calm confidence is attractive because people instinctively trust those who appear secure within themselves. One reason visualization is so effective is because the brain cannot always distinguish vividly imagined experiences from repeatedly practiced ones. Athletes mentally rehearse competitions. Musicians imagine flawless performances. Public speakers visualize standing confidently before an audience. They are not escaping reality. They are preparing the nervous system to perform under pressure. When your mind repeatedly experiences success internally, real-life situations begin to feel less unfamiliar. Familiarity reduces fear, and reduced fear allows your true abilities to emerge. However, visualization without responsibility becomes fantasy. The universe does not replace effort, it amplifies it. Imagine planting seeds but refusing to water them because you believe positive thinking is enough. Deep inside, you already know the outcome. Nature rewards participation. Success does the same. Every meaningful achievement requires thought followed by action, intention followed by discipline, belief followed by persistence. When these elements work together, extraordinary results become possible. There is another habit that silently blocks success: constantly replaying the past. The human brain naturally remembers emotional pain because it evolved to protect us from future danger. But what protected our ancestors can sometimes imprison us today. If your attention remains fixed on yesterday's failures, your imagination has no space to create tomorrow's possibilities. Healing does not mean pretending painful experiences never happened. It means refusing to let them become the foundation of your identity. Your past may explain your current circumstances, but it does not have to predict your future. Successful people often develop an unusual relationship with uncertainty. While others wait for guarantees, they move forward with incomplete information. They understand that clarity usually appears after movement, not before it. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. Reading instructions could never replace the experience of balancing through repeated practice. Life works in the same way. You gain confidence by taking action, not by endlessly preparing for action. Preparation has value, but endless preparation often disguises fear. At some point, you must trust yourself enough to begin. Gratitude also transforms ambition in a surprising way. Many people believe gratitude makes them less driven because they become satisfied with what they already have. In reality, healthy gratitude creates emotional stability, while ambition provides direction. You can deeply appreciate your present life while still working passionately toward a better future. These ideas do not compete with one another, they strengthen one another. Gratitude prevents success from becoming an endless chase, while ambition prevents comfort from becoming complacency. As you continue your journey, pay attention to the language you use every day. Words shape emotional states more than most people realize. Someone who constantly says, "Nothing ever works for me," gradually trains the brain to search for evidence supporting that belief. Another person says, "Every challenge teaches me something valuable." They experience the same difficulties, but their nervous system responds differently because their interpretation is different. Language becomes expectation. Expectation influences behavior, and behavior eventually shapes results. This is why successful people guard their self-talk carefully. They are not denying reality. They are choosing language that empowers action rather than excuses inaction. Perhaps the greatest shift happens when you stop asking life for permission to become successful. Many people wait until others believe in them before believing in themselves. They wait for perfect timing, perfect circumstances, or universal approval. Those moments rarely arrive. The people who eventually build extraordinary lives usually make one quiet decision long before anyone notices. They decide that their future will no longer be controlled by fear, by old stories, or by temporary setbacks. From that moment onward, every habit, every decision, every conversation, and every action begins moving in the direction of the person they are becoming. That is the true power behind attracting success, not waiting for life to change first, but changing yourself so completely that success eventually has no choice but to recognize the person you have become.